I think right now the biggest issue with Toronto Carnival is people respecting it. So I think like there's a huge issue with stormers. So it's because in the Caribbean, I was going to say like, yeah, back home, but I'm not from the Caribbean, but where it's originated, people respect mass, which is like the costumes, the whole production of it. So if you're not participating in the parade, you don't necessarily engage with the parade. Whereas Toronto has a
Toronto open door policy.
Yeah, they've kind of created this thing where they storm the parade. So people who aren't in costume feel entitled to join into the parade. And it can be, I think there's ways to like do that. I just think there needs to be education on what respecting mass is. And that's, these people have paid to be there, have paid to be in costume. People have spent the full year making these costumes. It is art. It is something really special. Everyone's there for a meaning to celebrate emancipation. And when people come and just kind of like storm the parade and come in and like destroy the costumes, or the people in the parade can't move because there's so many people that aren't really being like navigated properly, it kind of takes away from the parade. And now we're experiencing the issue of masqueraders don't want to buy costumes because they don't see the need to, because they can just go down to the Toronto parade and engage without buying costumes. So what that does is now people producing mass or like sections like us, the bands, if people aren't buying the costumes, we can't produce the costumes. So now we'll see what happens next year, but it's created a lot of issues for sections this year on funding because there just isn't enough. If people can't buy the costumes, we can't produce the costumes, which in turn can't produce a parade. So it's interesting. Some people have thought of the solution maybe being maybe there shouldn't be a parade for a year, and the city kind of feeling that hit of like, you know, the Toronto Caribbean Carnival brings in the most funding out of all events in the city, but people don't really take that in. Like hotels are booked solid, the events that weekend, the like Americans that come in, it's a lot of
so I mean this is new to me, and fair. I'm like, because I have like, I don't have like an understanding of the event in the way you're describing, because like I grew up and I'd always hear about Caravana and I would just see the streets full of people, but now you're explaining a context of like, this is really an art form, and it's just there, it's like having like a play, and the audience is free to walk on the stage.
Exactly.
A lot of people relate it to like the Santa Claus parade. They're like, if you're at the Santa Claus parade, you just don't go in and like jump on the float.
I think, to be honest, any parade,
any
you don't. So I don't know where that just became acceptable. And I mean that in my ignorance, I thought that's what carnival, how it was practiced elsewhere. I thought it was just a big party and everyone was dancing together and everyone kind of dressed.
So don't get me wrong. There's like portions of it. So like, for example, like they've put up fences to try and like separate that, but it's like people will go down. Okay, people will go down with their families.
You truly? There it is. Another one. You okay?
He's good.
People will go down with their families, and you can like have your own celebration. It's just the actual, the parade part. It's engaging with it respectfully. So, and just understanding which parts are you can engage with. And I think that there's like I said, there are ways of doing it where it's like maybe at a certain point when the parade ends, then like people can come together. But it's when it's in like for the whole parade, when you're having to like pull people out before we get on stage, because it is a competition too. So we cross a stage where you're judged, and so like even that part, I feel like when there's stormers coming with you up to the stage, and you're like, what? You're not coming on stage with us. It's you feel confusing.
Like it's just a lack of awareness that they didn't know that they can't do that, or is it just like people just like just do whatever you want?
I think it's both. So I think it's partially the city and the like the operations of the parade and how organizing, how to keep those people out and how to educate, which I know they've been trying different methods. Like now there's ticketed portions where you have to pay to watch the like stage crossing area. But then I also find a lot of people who've grown up in Toronto, because it's been like that for so long, they're so used to it that they don't see why they should have to pay. They don't see why they shouldn't be in the parade. They don't necessarily understand why, or like how we're funded and how, you know, like maybe like in order to keep the parade going, people need to pay to be in it. So
well, there's nothing wrong with recognizing that there's an issue, and changing it in the form that what people maybe became used to.
True.
So if someone's like, oh, I love going up to Toronto and just like I can just jump on and just like party, maybe there's a designated area for that.
Exactly.
And because you guys, there's such an expense and it's a competition and it's an art form, like it can't just be like, well, yeah, rip my feathers off, like
no, like,
well, I mean,
exactly.
So like, there. I think it should definitely be like some kind of infrastructure put in place to be like, this is like, you can't cross here. You need credentials. Yeah. This is like, I don't know if a float is the right thing, but but somehow it's like, or like better fencing. Yeah. So punishing people by not having it next year, I don't think people will be like, Toronto's back.
Yeah, but true.
They'll feel it.
Yeah, but is that the solution?
I don't know that it's the
solution. I don't know if it's a solution.
It's just
I think better interest, like changing how it's
and the security of it,
and like, maybe making it like, how many is it, one day?
The parade is one day. There's events that are kind of all within the week long. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can't just shut down downtown for 2-3 days.
Yeah, I mean, we basically do, but
well, I mean, then there should be a time and place for what they want to do. But for you guys, like, because you're holding true the origins of the art form, like you have. And I think it is like
things evolve too. So I think like that's something I know. It's like things are changing on like how we can adjust as well. So like I mentioned how, like a lot of sections noticed the lack of masqueraders buying costumes this year. And I do think it has a large part to do with people, you know, like things are more expensive. So it's like costumes are more expensive because materials are more expensive. Everything's more expensive.
If it means something to someone,
they'll find
they'll pay.
Yeah. And that's
because people like Halloween, people spend thousands of dollars on a stupid cat costume.
That's true. Yeah. And I think with the notion of, well, do I pay and be in the parade, or I just go down and storm, and maybe I'm not in costume, but I'm still enjoying the
stormers
music.
know that they're storming? Do they understand that concept?
I think some do, some don't. I think, and that's where people say there needs to be more education, because I think there's a fine line, and I think the people that do know they're storming are more respectful, because it sounds, there's a more respectful way of storming where it's like, if you see someone in costume, you let them pass, you kind of like stand back. When a big
there's
mass,
an etiquette.
There's a stormer etiquette. Those ones I think it's like a bit more manageable.
Do you like it? Pierre, you're so quiet. This is like a big frustration for you.
Yeah. This is also newer to Pierre.
Like, so I used to be a stormer.
You're a pro storm.
I'm not pro storm.
Hurricane Pierre.
Definitely was a hurricane.
We were educated now.
But it's funny. I got the experience where I went with my mom's friend and her family. We stayed behind the fence. We watched, and then I got older and then went with my friends from my neighborhood. And like we went down there and like whatever stormed, but we also knew like growing up, like you don't just go to people and like just like disrespect them and like grind them. Like you gotta have like a little bit of eye contact, permission, and then you engage.
That's all it takes. A little eye contact.
Eye contact, permission, like because they're gonna look back and be like, "No,
who's behind me?
I don't want this. I don't want that." Or like, "Okay, cool," but not at one point have we ever like broke a feather or things like that, or like just like be belligerent in terms of like not being aware of.
I would imagine it's hard to control. Like, there's people who are going with the right intention. Then there's like a bunch of drunk dudes that are just like, oh, what's happening here?
Yeah, I think like one thing, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because like we had kind of that education. We still had like people in our hood going to the parade in costume, so we also understood that aspect. Like these girls took time like getting ready, putting on their costumes and whatnot. So I think from what I've learned in working in it, it's education is important, but it's like, how do you get that information to the stormers? Because is it like, because stormers just know that carnival's happening, they're not going on like carnival Instagram to be like, what's the updates, like what's going on?
But maybe that's not a bad idea. I was gonna say, why don't you create a social media where it's a campaign leading up, where people are like, hey, did you know that this is called storming? Did you know you're doing that? It's like, now people are like, I didn't know that was like taboo.
Yeah.
Well, I think it needs that plus like,
and outside of, like you said, because the Toronto, like the Caribbean carnival community is so small and niche, and when we're in it, we don't think it is, but when you look outside of it, a lot of people here don't know or follow those like social media accounts. So I think that information being put, like say on the TTC like months prior to, where it's like shown to people that
well, the news does a sufficient job of like at least alerting the public that it's coming. They talk about it. I remember that's how I knew about it. I didn't have anyone
they've done interviews on TV about it. But I think like if the next opportunity comes is to take that opportunity to explain briefly what that means and how to respect. Like I feel like there needs to be a segment in between that marketing campaign on how to respect the crowd, like how to expect the mass. And at the same time, like I was saying, because not everyone's on social media looking for it, the ones who are will see it, but then I think it's important, like when you get to the gate, that the people at the gate, they're not just security guards that's looking at your stuff. There's got to be someone there that's also like, all right, like here, remember the rules.
Like a bouncer.
When you go to certain events, like they say, okay, like no drinks in here, no this, these are the rules, and you're good. So like I feel like mass needs that too. Like I feel like carnival needs that.
And it's hard because like there's videos of like, it's just like so many people. So it's, which I don't like, it's not an excuse because like there's events that have tons of people too and it's managed, but it's like you'll see them just like pushing fences down and coming through. And like
there's police presence, I presume, right?
Yeah, but I think another thing is the education, because I think police is just looking at it like it's a big party, like things are going to get a little rough, but we're here. Like there's no like sense
almost
of like
for them to jump in, then it gets
tricky.
muddier.
It gets super
because like
tricky.
He didn't do anything. Why are you going out?
Yeah.
Then it
and there's private
tricky.
Like you'll see like it's like private security that like manages the areas, but it's like even with us, like I've like not tested them a few times, but like asked them like, hey, so can I come back in this area even if I don't have costume? Oh yeah, no problem. And you're like, what? Like things like that. Or like, well, I remember this year, like I was saying, right before we got to the stage, there was the gates and there's 3 security guards there, and there's some kids coming in like stormers, and one of the other section leaders, I saw her like schooling these kids and being like, no, like you can't come in, like you have to be, and the security guards are just standing there, and she was like, guys, like what are you doing? And like it's frustrating for us because it's like we shouldn't have to be like doing that, but it's like you kind of have to, but the security I think is just not.
So security guards, they're not really like trained.
No, and they don't really care.
They have a
they're just
jacket
there.
and a flashlight.
Yeah, so that's where I feel like it does need to just be enforced better. I don't know.
Yeah, there needs to be like some kind of like the committee needs to agree that every point of contact with carnival needs, like all those faculties need to be educated. So security, media, and just so that like everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, and I think really just truly understanding why, and like why, even like I saw a lot of like comments on Instagram about like complaining about having to pay to watch, or pay to get into the portion where you watch. And it's like, I think that's huge, because like if you want to support something, if you want something to continue in the city that is a cultural event that isn't funded like that, you need, like, you should want to pay, you should want to contribute to your like community to keep it going. But it's, I don't know why people
remember you remember those commercials the government would make about smoking? Like there needs to be one about Carnival, but like in a obviously more light-hearted way, but it like just educating that aspect, and then also just clipping up a bunch of reasons why, like where you see like storming, you see like broken feathers. It's like, this is not what we want this year.
Yeah,
like,
you
just
know
like
what?
throw it in their face to understand.
The idea of like extinction, like extinction, like we could apply to animals, but we can apply to events, or like you think you can just kind of like go up to someone and like the idea of like showing a bunch of broken feathers and like a Jacques Cousteau kind of idea tying into you. And it's like, what happened here? And it's like, it's a stormer. It's a what? What's a stormer? Is that like a something, a species that's coming? It's like, no, these are people that they don't know the rules. It's like, what rules? It's like, then you start like educating people, and it's like, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Then they'll be like, well, that takes away all the fun. It's like, well, the world's different. You can't just like crash something, have fun, and leave. Like, there's expense, and there's injury, and then there's lawsuits, and then there's like, then the fun is over because you didn't know how to reel it in.
To reel it. I like that.
That would be
I'm gonna
great.
pitch that.
Gotta pitch it.
You should. I actually, I mean, I like ideas. It's one thing to say
You're
ideas.
good at them too.
I'm good at bringing. I'm a very much like, I'll get you started.
Yeah.
I had other ideas, like unrelated to this. I call them $1 million ideas.
You have a bank of them?
I do. And I try them out on people, and they usually think they're stupid. But then, inevitably, I do find them actually in practice, and I'll send them videos. Like, I have like some of our cousins. I'll be like, see, I told you. I have this one idea for luxury porta potties.
Oh.
Like, it's almost like it's... my initial idea was like, it was sort of like a back of a van.
Wait, but you've seen like the fancy porta potties, right?
I didn't see it until I came up with the idea.
Oh, okay.
Now I see them everywhere, and I feel like I missed out on an opportunity because I allowed people laughing at my idea to hurt my dream. It was Uber Oops.
That was the name?
That was my name.
Oh, I like it.
Like and it, like the main people, it wasn't necessarily high-end toilets, but I mean it could be, probably should be, but it was for people like more like that. They were anxious about using the toilets at work.
Oh.
Some people have a genuine like,
they do.
They're like, I won't go, or kids at school. However, because like a lot of the times it has to do with like the cleanliness and like the noise, and there's other people in the stalls. So if you, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but so it it's just because of ideas. Yeah. And I think like if you just call like 1-800-UBER-OOPS, no one calls the number. I meant an app. I just look back on what I was saying. And then it's like, Jimmy, where are you going? I got a Uber Oops. My Uber is here. Oh, you're going somewhere? It's like, Uber Oops. I got you. And they wink. And then about 20 minutes later, Jimmy's back. And it's clean.
Yeah. And he feels nice. And
yeah.
Comfortable.
There could be a bidet. Maybe even like a bathroom attendant.
Yeah.
You
one of those
like
Japanese toilets. Those ones.
Oh,
those
that
are
they
cool.
spray.
They do everything.
It's like a one all in one. You guys ever used one of those?
Never
I've
been to
used
Japan
one.
yet.
Well, I mean, they have them here.
They do.
I haven't used it yet.
Very nice.
How do you feel about bidets in general?
I think bidets are genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like a bidet.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to cut that part out.
Okay. Why? What?
The bidet and the Uber Oops. just a segue.
You want to give your idea?
Yeah,
give your idea. So.
Thanks, Casey. I think you're making fun of me. To close, maybe another 10-15 minutes. I want to like go over some funny family stories. Anything that you remember. I remembered one this morning. Andreas, and I was teaching him how to drive. I guess he was 16.
Aww.
And we're in our neighborhood, and I'm like, okay, Andreas, at the light. Sorry, it's a stop sign. At the stop sign, stop and make a right turn. And then I just heard him go, and then he just gunned it, and he didn't stop, and he went straight.
What?
And I'm like, why did you do that? He goes, you made me nervous. I'm like, you just had to stop the car, and you went faster. And my dad.
Why'd he do it?
I don't know. He got nervous.
So
So when you get nervous, you hit the gas.
That's crazy.
It's dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
See ya.
The guy's gonna die.
Yeah, I remember when I was learning how to drive, my instructor would hit my hand.
When was this?
This was when I was a kid. I mean, I was 16, so that was, 15 years ago? 20, 30 years ago?
They'd hit you.
Yeah, he was just smacked.
No.
I'm like, you could just say turn left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving stories.
Stories.
I remember when I got my license. So in Alberta, you could get your learners at 14, and then at 16 you could get your license. So I got mine at 16, and I remember my best friend at the time, Dylan. You know Dylan.
Oh yeah, Dylan.
Yeah, we grew up together. But I was with him and two other friends, and I went to go pick him up, and I got to his house, and I had to use the washroom, so I parked in front and left my two other friends in the car, and I went up to his house, and Dylan came down, and he got in the car and thought it'd be funny to hop in the driver's seat and take my car for like a little spin. So he did a U-turn, and I was coming back from the washroom at this time. I'm standing at his door, crashes into a car across the street, backs up, crashes again. So I'm like, holy shit, like this was the day I got my license, and I'm like, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. So we all hop in the car, and my two friends are like, yo, Casey, just drive home, just go park your car, we'll be okay, let's go home. So we go back to my house like 2 blocks away. I park the car in the alley, we all go into the basement, and we're just sitting there, and I think like maybe an hour and a half later, my dad, Casey, like the whole house is shaking. I come upstairs, cops are there. The like neighbors saw everything. They like found the car in the alley. I was in so much trouble. Luckily, like we ended up like, they weren't like pressing charges. They knew we were like stupid kids. We just like, I think Dylan ended up having to pay for the damage or something. My dad was so mad at me though. That was my first day driving experience.
So that was like, it was like your friend's fault, but then what you did was just like,
was my fault. It's on me for driving away, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was considered a hit and run.
Yeah.
Your first hit and run.
16.
I think my mom had a hit and run.
Did she?
Yeah.
Recently?
I mean, I think. No, maybe like within the last 10 years. But it was a hit and run, like she backed into a car in a parking lot.
Yeah.
And then just drove away. And then they're like, why didn't the cops came?
Oh,
like,
they did?
Yeah, I mean, they're like, someone saw and you just drove away. And she said, well, I just had gone to the grocery store, I had meat in my trunk. And I was like,
not the meat.
I was like, what do I want to do? Like, it's going to go bad. So
That's
she just
so
left.
funny.
And I'm like, you had meat.
Yeah, meat.
Yeah.
I get it in the fridge.
That's so funny.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
hopefully they don't call you or they don't find you, but they do.
Yeah.
They find you.
Yeah, they end up
Leave a
finding you
note.
later.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah. Remember once I think I fit 9 people into a car once. Let's seat 5. We were like leaving like school, the naturopathic school, and like a bunch of people live in residences or little like condos or apartments near the school. And I'm like, yeah, you want to ride? I'm like, yeah. And then like 2 of them was like, can I bring my friend? I'm like, yeah. And by the end time I got to my car, we had 9 people in the car.
That's a lot.
It's too many. There's 4 people in the front, 4 people in the back, and then 1 person lying on.
To be young again.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so dangerous. Why would I do that? My car was small. It was a little
Why
BMW.
would I do that?
I know.
Yeah, now I'm very like, I need a seatbelt.
Damn, look at you. Super safe.
I need a
So
seatbelt.
safe. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you do.
Yeah.
We didn't, like, there was a time when seatbelts were like, well, if you have one, you should wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember, like, my dad used to drive, like, a truck, like a van. And there was no second row. I just
Yeah.
sat on, like, a box.
Whatever was there. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no seatbelts. You just, like, hold on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then, like, my grandfather had a station wagon. And
I always hear about this station wagon that your grandfather had.
I think every grandfather typically.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a staple.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like the trunk was like that was like a backyard. Just everyone sits back there.
Yeah, everyone in.
Yeah. I remember again. I was already pretty grown up. I probably was about 18, and I'm in my mom's car. We're all in my mom's car, and there's like 4 of us in the back row, and Andreas is about 5 years old. He's sitting on my lap. For an 18-year-old guy with a 5-year-old on your lap is not the peak of coolness. But then we're driving the highway, and I look over, and I see this one kid in the back of a station wagon, but it wasn't like a long bed. It was just like a little bit of trunk space, and he was just like this, facing the back of the. And we made eye contact. And I was like, got my cousin on my lap, and he's just facing me, going backwards, like with and he squished up. And it's almost like we didn't nod, but we could have. We should have.
Yeah,
We
should have.
Yeah. I feel you.
It's gonna get better.
It's gonna get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Now there's so many rules, car seats, and it's like a spaceship,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
safer,
It should be,
you know?
Yeah.
but there's a lot of rules.
New rules.
Yeah,
the
I used
car
to.
seat one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Car seat one, what?
I was saying the car seat one. I didn't take in, like, even just leaving with him at the hospital. How they really
yeah, they
check
check-
your car seat.
Oh yeah. You have
situation.
to like,
Yeah.
so like show that it's like properly.
You know what
strapped.
you're doing.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
It's true.
So safe.
I remember when we had our first, it was like 2 a.m. and the nurse was like, okay, Dad, show me how you swaddle a baby. And it's like, I never didn't even know what a swaddle a baby was. And she's getting mad at me. She's like, you're screwing it up. You're not doing it right. I'm like, is that I was, what? Show me then. You're so stupid lady. There's always some dummy. Look, he's chewing on
Everything.
yeah.
Give him a bottle just now.
So, what's next? I actually, you know what? I thought I placed an order.
You did. On the way.
It's on the way?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Everything's being made. That's
okay,
why.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I just want to make, because I thought I wanted to wear it today.
Aww.
Oh,
Oh, we should have styled him. Or, I mean, you should have styled
I should have styled you.
Where would you start? Like, am I just, like, is it just overall, like, I just don't have a sense of style? I was
I would
named,
not say that.
what, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got Yeezys on.
But that's just, the shoes are sort of like, you just put them on. Like, anyone
Yeah,
could do
but
that.
that's the people don't realize like that's like where you start.
I like that.
Jason, you had a lot of, or like a sneaker collection.
I
didn't you? I
do.
feel like I remember that.
Yeah.
Sneaker guy.
I kind of.
I'm gonna go give him a box.
Yeah.
You guys continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're almost done.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's where you start because like even today I ran back inside to change my shoes
Why?
because I was like, why am I wearing these shoes? Like,
Look at the camera. That one's a goner.
you know? Now it's staring at your shoes.
Yeah, I don't want that. I always liked nice shoes. I mean, I didn't grow up wearing fancy shoes. Like, my parents were like, "What are you gonna spend $100 or $150 on shoes? You're gonna outgrow them," which is true to a point.
Yeah.
But then when I got my first pair of like real like nice shoes that I really really wanted, I got Reebok pumps.
Oh, nice.
This is the D Brown. You familiar?
That era.
Yeah. Well, that's what.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like, oh, he jumps higher because he pumped up his shoes.
Yeah.
He didn't jump higher. He could jump really.
It was just more comfortable and cozier when you pumped it.
I think it was just in hindsight, it was a gimmick. It was silly.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think maybe about 10 years ago, Maria bought me a pair of it was like a reissue, some kind of high top pump, something. I don't know. There's
Oh, the reissue. I've seen the reissue before.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
It's like peak innovation for Reebok too.
Yeah,
like Reebok pumps.
You know what? With Reebok though, they've gone back to we're not going to change our style. We're just going to go back to the basic, with the Reebok sign on the side.
Yeah,
which is okay, but I mean, it's just sort of like this is all we're doing. Mm-hmm. We're not changing.
See, I was obviously alive during Reebok pumps, but my initiation of actually owning a pair of Reeboks and falling in love with them is when the Iverson era was here.
Sure.
My mom bought me the same Iverson slip-on sneakers twice in a row. Yeah. And I was like, okay, why'd you do that? But also thank you, because I just ruined the first pair already. And then I came back from Montreal during the Christmas holidays, and she was like, surprise Christmas present. And it was the same exact shoe, same color, red, gray. And I was like, oh, why didn't you try Jordan this time? And then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I actually really love these shoes. It was so comfortable. It was slip on.
You know what's so weird about that? Once I had a pair of they were tearaway pants, whatever, track pants, and then I liked them. I wore them all the time, especially when tearaways were a thing. And then I bought another pair, the exact same, and then I hated them. I always wonder, it's if you have two of the same thing, do you just end up hating it?
That's the thing. If it doesn't work the first time,
if it worked the first time, but then you bought it again, and it's maybe it's
but
the novelty.
But did you buy it again?
Yeah,
that's the difference. I feel because I didn't buy it, it's I didn't make the choice to go through that again. It just happened because my mom decided to buy it again.
Yeah. And
then at the same time, I fell in love with the shoe, and I wish it lasted a little longer because the grip of the sole was coming off and stuff. It was starting to fade out because I would wear them playing basketball outdoor too.
Sure.
So it'd get ruined faster. So when she got them, all I could do is kind of be grateful for it because it was okay, I mean, you got me sneakers. But at the same time, I was kind of it was bittersweet because I was I wanted something else.
Yeah.
But then I found myself being in that feeling again of oh, these shoes are great, da 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 da.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but I feel if I would consciously buy something again, I think it would have to be because I need it. It has to be because the experience and using it every day and how it functions in my life works. But I feel I wouldn't want to buy something again unless it was that. It kind of goes back to that uniform concept.
Is there anything that you don't have right now that you want?
That I want. I feel I need. There's a few jackets I need in my life right now.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Would you make it? Would you make it?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of things that I need. I feel not a lot of things, but there's a few things that I need that are in process of it's gonna be made.
Right.
So I'm not too worried about that stuff because I feel anything I need, I just throw it in a collection.
So you design it first,
yeah.
I presume, and then you what you're describing, these jackets, did you already have them designed? You already know what they're going to look like?
Yeah, some of them are variations of previous jackets in terms of fits, because I also studied alterations and fit techniques and stuff like that. So a lot of the fits, we've got our stuff into a space where the fitting is nice. So the fit can translate from one jacket to another, and you just kind of change the actual style of the jacket.
Right.
But the fit still, it's always gonna fit properly. So there's a few jackets that like I feel like I need, like a little trench coat, not a bomber jacket, but one of those barber jackets where it's like a bomber jacket, but it's got a collar.
Oh, okay.
That kind of stuff.
Why is it called a barber jacket? Barbers wear them?
I don't remember. I don't know. I think barbers wear it. I'm playing around, but like I actually don't remember why that was called a barber jacket. Okay. But yeah, like I feel like there's just like a few stuff that like anytime I need, I just dedicate it to being in the collection, because I feel like if I need it in the closet, maybe someone else may need it in their closet.
So I was gonna ask, like, if anything that you design for yourself, will that be like made available on your store? Is that something that you'll take orders for?
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
Like there are some stuff like where I kind of like design things off grid, where some friends, like recently I had a friend, Aaron from Bitter and Broke, which is a band. He's a musician. He made an order for custom denim wide pants. So I had it made for him, but those wide pants aren't available on our website. So like, if you know what I do and are into that kind of stuff, and you want something custom for a show or whatever, or like any like occasion, then you can hit me up, and then we can like, I can consult like some ideas, and then we get to a final product, and then I go and make it, go and sew it up. So
that's good.
Yeah, so I do a bit of that as well. And then some stuff that I sew for myself, like me and Drew would have a conversation like, hey, like we might need to have this in the collection, because this is something like people actually want. Like I'll wear it on the street, or I'll wear it around friends, and they're like, yo, like, is this dropping? Like, what's going on with that? And it's like, I don't know, man, it's a sample. But it kind of gives you an idea of like what people want.
Well, samples are, that's why, part of the reason why you have them.
Yeah.
Is to gauge the interest. So not everything will hit, but then some things are like, everyone's been asking for this.
Yeah.
I like that. I want a jacket.
Which jacket?
I don't know. I've been seeing like, what's the one? It's kind of like that full woolly, furry material on the inside.
The woolly, furry material.
It's like white, like it looks like it's sheep fur.
Oh yeah. Wait, we have that?
No, I mean I want that.
Oh, you want one? You want a Sherpa?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Sherpa.
I was gonna say Sherpa, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Sherpa. So, but what's the outside?
I don't know. I've seen some that were jean, and I've seen some that are like not bomber. I don't know. I'd have to look up a few, because I have the idea in my head, and then I'm like looking, and I'm like, I'm not finding it.
Right. You know what's funny? You can, you know what you should do? You should get a jacket image, and like, because you're going to get a jacket image, and you're probably not everything on that jacket is what you want. So you start from like the top. Yeah. Circle the neck part.
Yeah.
And just write like collar. I want a like collar, or I want ribbed. So ribbed is like this, like like a bomber, or like whatever. And then material, denim. You kind of give me options like what we can like try, and then go from there.
Yeah, and I like want like a hood, but then like the option to take the hood off.
Okay, see, then back to that neck part. You kind of like write that. That's kind of how I work with friends and like family and clients, because like it allows us to think outside as much as possible, and then like reality.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, let's do it. Like
I'm down.
Yeah. Just when you're ready.
I'll like you said, I'll like design something. I'm like, hey, like what are the options? Like what makes sense? And then you're like, well, you can't do this, but you should do this instead. And you have to measure me, or is it just like whatever medium is?
Whatever medium is, because at this point, like we've worked on the fits enough to where everything is slightly oversized.
Yeah.
And there's room in certain areas just to kind of like have people comfortable.
Right.
Like,
you err on the side of bigger, so that, I mean, smaller, then it's bad.
yeah, because like even for me, like my arms, I have like a crazy wingspan, which is like was helpful when I was playing basketball. But when I started shopping for clothes and stuff like that, and like really being intentional about trying to dress, man, like the sleeves were at like my elbow.
Yeah,
like it was just like, what is this? And it's supposed to be like, and it's like, for example, going into like back in the day when I was really green, didn't know anything. I went into Zara and tried to get like fitted long sleeve stuff, and it was like at my half my forearm. So I always took that in consideration of like doing slightly oversized for or slightly longer for a range of body types.
Yeah.
So
Smart.
yeah,
Because, I mean, when you buy clothes now, it's off the rack or whatever. It's all like a standardized, like all my jeans are like too long, or I have to like get a bigger waist. I have a 36-inch waist that's loose, so that like I don't know, like something the legs are wide enough. 'Cause everything is skinny legged. Is he all fed up?
Yeah.
Good. He's happy again.
And you're back.
So I'm gonna get a jacket made.
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, a little Sherpa inside.
Cool. Like
Yeah.
a custom one?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, I want this.
Sherpa.
Sherpa.
It's a good name, eh?
Yeah, Sherpa.
Any parting thoughts?
Parting thoughts.
This was great.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
this is
Yeah,
nice.
I had fun.
I'm glad.
Like,
You didn't know what to
Conversation.
expect because I kind of left it blank.
Yeah, that's, I feel like better though.
I like
I would
it.
have overthought.
yeah, I didn't want to overthink it either.
Yeah.
I did guess like what it could be, but I was just like, you know what? Jason's a comedian, so he's gonna like make this really fun and like effortless, and
You know what's-
probably throw a curveball. But
I only did one really big curveball with someone, not today.
Oh.
I told the guy we were going to talk about working out, and I ended up just talking about relationships.
Oh.
And then so all his answers were like, for example, if you go to the gym,
Like you revert back to the gym.
yeah, everything was about
trying to get out of
like,
there.
You know, like relationships, kind of like
Wait, were you
bench
planning
press.
to do this?
Yeah,
Oh.
I did that just to be a jerk. but I wouldn't do that to you guys.
But that's so funny.
That is
it
funny.
I
was
feel like I
fun.
was expecting something like that to
yeah, I
happen.
was expecting something, but
A curveball.
it's still funny though.
Yeah.
Still a good time.
But you guys are so talented, so I'm like, I must talk to my friends.
Yeah.
It helps that
I
you're
feel like
related.
it's good for us too to talk things out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
like, I think because with my clinic, I try to focus so much on marketing and like how to like different ways to expose ourselves. I don't know, expose is probably not the right word,
Yeah.
but to get us out there. Because
Yeah.
the one thing that makes me cringe is when people say, "I had no idea you guys were here." I'm like, then what hole in my marketing where people like literally like they live in the neighborhood and they don't know that I have a clinic right here, like on a
Yeah.
main street facing, and I'm like, I gotta like think about like where else, like what, and there's a million things that I'm not doing that I could be doing. So I don't get fixated on like, oh, I'm doing so much, how is that possible? I'm like, okay, where is there a hole? What am I not seeing that's right in front of me? So then when conversations like we're having today, like my brain is like, oh, you guys should be like on TikTok with like for your caravana, and actually talking about like the things that you're concerned with, and like having like a really simple campaign. Campaign sounds like a big fancy thing, and it's
Yeah.
not. And then for you, just like you already have a lot of like, I see your stuff on social media, and like your music, which we didn't even talk about,
Yeah.
I feel
is like
that's a huge one.
like
That- yeah.
I mean, let's spend 5 minutes like because like your music, like I add on my Instagram posts. It's
that's
available. Like,
That's cool.
it's
how-
available.
It's available.
but how did did you know that, or how did that happen? Is that like, because I feel like there's a lot of
That's a
people who
good question.
they're like, oh, I don't know how to get my music on there, and it's like, I see your.
Because even for me, like, seeing how he does all this stuff, like, same thing. I was like, how does his music get on these? Well, obviously, yeah, you explain how that works.
I just like she gives me flack for this sometimes, but I really spend a lot of time watching podcasts and but like
24/7.
like literally
those
like
earbud things.
Yeah, the Beats by Dre. Shoutouts to Dr. Dre. But what happens is like I've been so engulfed in music. I was like my family on my dad's side is very musical. My uncle's a maestro.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather, who I'm named after,
is a maestro or maestro?
a maestro.
Oh.
Not maestro.
I thought you.
That would have been kind of cool too. But
I wasn't sure how connected.
I have met him before.
Yeah.
But and then my grandfather, who I'm named after, Pierre the First, he actually was a conductor back home in Congo. So fast forward, like I got really involved in music. I started producing and whatnot. But one thing I really did was try to understand the business and how to get the music out there, especially in this digital age. And like I do have like tech background and stuff like that. So it was kind of like second nature of just figuring it out and getting things on there. And it's just you learn how to distribute your music basically. And there's a lot of platforms that allow you to distribute your music and implement it into social media as well, because social media does use a lot of music that like is now licensed to these companies to integrate into their platforms.
For sure.
And because it's integrated in their platforms, they have to pay for it to be integrated. So they pay the distribution people who are distributing it to them, and then distribution pays us. So then that's how it works.
So you're under a, technically, would you be under a label?
No, so I started my own label called Disco World Records, and I've been releasing music under that mantra. And then I'm also registered with SOCAN, which is the songwriter it's basically the performing arts representation for artists in Canada. So it's like a BMI, ASCAP type of thing, where they collect all your like the royalties for your music everywhere in the world and from radio. So I get these random checks every whatever in the year.
That's amazing.
It's not crazy because I haven't gotten to a space where I'm really pushing the music out there yet. But it has collected over time when I was on the radio and things like that. So, I've learned early how to kind of manage and organize that stuff, because at one point I was like, I want to be signed to a label and whatnot, and they could do everything. But as you start learning the business and you realize like the record companies are going kind of downhill. They've fired a lot of people. They are doing a revamp. They're going a lot more digital.
Sure.
But the advantage for us, the independent artists, is that we're not tied to that.
Right.
So we don't have to go down with them or like have a super long pause on putting out projects because they're revamping. We are on our own schedule, and there's at least right now 4% of music is independent music that is thriving in the space.
Yeah.
So the labels are kind of scared because like it's gradually going to go up because there's more tools for independent artists.
Absolutely.
So we're kind of in a great space, and like I've taken the time recently to finish a lot of projects of mine to put out. So I'm hoping to put out maybe 2 to 3 projects by the end of this year. If not, it'll probably be 2, just depending on timing. Dashcam and Disco Inferno are the projects.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be the audio to start, or?
So audio and so for Dashcam, there's a video that we are currently storyboarding, and that will have a video. So I'm just going to do one video for now, and then Disco Inferno. I have some. It's more of like it's like a long story, so it's kind of like I kind of want to do a bit of acting, a bit of like different things in it. Kind of make it like a little short film in a way, but it is gonna take time, so it's like I can't say it's coming out this year or whatever, but the music at least is gonna come out this year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Which one do you feel like is more your passion? Music or fashion?
That's
or
hard.
can you not separate the two?
I think I reached to a point where no, I'm gonna say music.
Oh.
I'm gonna say music.
Curve. I thought he was gonna say
Right.
fashion.
No, because like a lot of people know me for music first, and a lot of new people know me for fashion first. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess you have said to me before, like, Casey, music is like my therapy. Like it'll always,
Yeah,
Like,
music hands down
like regardless
is
of anything.
therapeutic compared to the fashion side of things. I feel like the fashion side of things is more like I'm tasked to create a solution.
It feels like work.
Yeah, but like it does like kind of one hand washes the other because like okay, so one hand washes the other in a sense of like if I'm doing photo shoots, music videos, like I already know what I'm going to be wearing.
I was gonna say.
But in terms of like music takes it to another level because I can just release music and you don't have to see what I'm wearing. You don't have to see what's going on. Like you can just listen to the music. And
Does the fashion influence the music, or the other way around, or two sides of the same coin?
that's crazy. The fashion influenced the music. I think the music influences the fashion because the music is like aspirational.
Yeah.
And because it's aspirational, it like teleports you in a certain space and world. And then as you're listening, you're envisioning what you're doing, what you're enjoying, what you're wearing, what you're achieving. So because of that, it puts you in that space, and then it translates to what would I be wearing? Because then it's like, what would I be wearing saying these things? What would I be wearing doing these things?
Okay. Yeah, because as you're describing it, the music is like non-physical.
Yeah.
And it's like energy.
Exactly.
And then the energy can manifest physically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like your fashion or like other things.
Yeah, it starts in one point. And I feel like every time I release music, it kind of creates a new era of what the fashion is going to be like in my world.
Yeah.
So it's like I can never stop making music because it creates that kind of space. And it's, again, therapeutic for me.
So there. I like it.
Yeah.
That was a good answer because I always thought the opposite. I don't know why.
Again, because you're seeing me deep in my fashion space.
But I think I knew that you had music before knowing about your brand.
Okay. Okay, that's different then.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
actually, I remember Maria was telling me, or she messaged me once, being like, "I love his music."
Oh, yeah,
Listen
yeah,
to
yeah.
this song. I was like, "That's so great."
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Casey loves to sing.
That's funny. I actually asked her, like, hey, can you...
Yeah, wasn't that like yesterday?
Yesterday. I was like, question. Can you hit a note? Like, can you actually sing?
Only
I never
Galileo
heard you, like,
knows.
try.
I don't know anyone in the family that
No.
doesn't sing in the shower outside of the shower.
Because we were trying to sleep train him the other day, and, like, he was crying it out, but it wasn't working. And I was like, you know what? We need to stop doing this. Like, we're going to ruin his vocal cords. He could be a singer for all we know, and we're just damaging him. Like, and then
I was there. How long did he cry for?
we did like 20 minutes. 22
I
minutes.
feel like it was more.
22
Almost
minutes.
30.
Almost 30.
Did you at all check in on him?
Well, okay, he's in our room.
Are you in there
his
with?
crib is his crib is. Like,
So he sees you.
He can
Kind of.
He can see
That's,
us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of the problem.
Is it?
Yeah, when we did sleep
Close
training,
times.
what I found was you have to be
Wait, did you guys do like sleep training?
official sleep, like with a sleep
okay.
trainer. Yeah.
Okay.
She coached us, which was
Good to know.
I didn't do it with her first because I'm like I don't want someone foreign in our house telling me what. It's just I was like I had a bad misconception of it, but then with our second, she was like it was getting to the point where Maria was holding her like all night. So it's like, okay, it's not functional. It's not going to work. My mic's giving out on me. And then, so when we did the training, it's kind of like, you don't have to like make them bawl out like, endlessly for hours. Like you can go and check on them like after 5 minutes, but then after 10 minutes you can, and then after 15 minutes, if you don't like, you have to try to stretch it out.
But what's checking on them? Is that just being like, hey, how are you?
It's like a
Or pick them up?
5. No, don't pick them up
Oh,
if
okay.
possible. Like it's really like the least intervention required for them to kind of like not be in
Lower
like
their voice.
not to be throwing up, crying.
Okay.
And our youngest, initially that's how it was. Like the first I think 6 months we tried, and he was like it was a mess. And I'm like, okay, he's not ready. He's gonna like cry himself hoarse and this, and I'm like, let's wait a couple months. And then when we tried, he was a little bit older and like a little bit less like panicked, and within the first hour the crying stopped on the first day. The second day, after 15 minutes, the crying stopped. By the third day, a minute, and then afterwards it was like welcoming the bed, the crib.
Okay. I feel like that explains it a bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, one other question. Diaper. Like say we put him down and he wakes up, like he's been sleeping for like 5 hours and he wakes up screaming, and we're like, hey, we're sleep training him, so we're gonna let him cry. But what if his diaper needs a change? Do you change it, or do you?
I think it's
Change it and put
if
it
I
back?
recall correctly, it might have to do with how long you have to give them some time to like let them get back to sleep. If it's like 20 minutes of crying, like I'm wet, I'm probably soaked through,
Yeah.
I'm cold, then like you kind of need to, there may be an avenue of like having to check, change them quickly, keeping it as dark as possible, and then putting them back
Even
down.
if he's still crying, put him back.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's almost like repeating the sleep training
Yeah.
vibe.
Okay.
But I'll give you a contact of our sleep trainer,
Yeah.
and if that's something you want to look at, because you need to they need to be in bed early, like for the night, like 6 p.m.
Okay.
And they're
Oh,
going to
wow.
sleep for 12 hours, 13 hours at this age.
Oh, at the 6 months mark.
Yeah. They need huge hours.
Huge hours.
Yeah, you'll be like, why are they sleeping so? It's like they need 12 hours easily. And then
Wow.
a lot of like parents will be like, well, my 2-year-old, they're up, they go to bed at like, when I go to bed at 10 o'clock. And it's like, it's too late for them. Well, like if I put them down at 8, they're going to want me to stay with them. And it's like, well, then you need sleep training.
Yeah.
Because they have to get used to being in bed by themselves and like falling asleep. Not
Yeah.
like they only sleep if I'm in the bed with them, because then your evenings are shot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's, because he was sleeping really good, and like recently he's been kind of.
Yeah. I think it's when we've been
Switching it
back
up.
from the trip. It's just like,
Yeah, he started.
I think we have to start
But
all
even
over.
on the trip too, it started a bit.
Yeah.
Changing
So-
routine, and also because you'll see when he's going through another milestone,
Yeah.
you'll find that his sleep is less. When they're like learning and their brain is developing, they go through these little spurts. You'll see it's like, hey, he's just started to like say, talk a little bit, or like understand, or like play something, and like their intellect is increasing. There's going to be like a little bit of a setback with their sleeping, because the brain is like kind of processing all this stuff, and they don't get into a deeper sleep.
So
Makes sense.
you recommend the sleep training?
I tell everybody,
Yeah.
like if you're concerned with that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And it depends on how strict you want to be. Like we were strict to the point, it's like we won't go. We'd have to be home by 6 p.m. to have them in bed by 6:30.
Oh, like to do the sleep training.
And we wouldn't miss. Like it's like we're leaving. Like we'll come for lunch. That was the attitude.
For how long? I was like, what do you think?
It depends.
As long as
depends
possible.
on how much you value your free time.
Wait, like to train them to get into that habit, but then
So
you need to
there's
be
that,
consistent
and then
after.
because once you're like, okay, it's been 3 months, like it's clockwork, and it's like, but then it's been having some get-togethers and this and that, and then you realize you're not. It's starting to get more difficult.
Like
They're
it
starting to
messes
get
them
more.
up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good to know.
So 6 months.
It's like for the rest of your life.
He's like forever.
Yeah.
You are sleeping at 6 forever. 6 p.m.
Yay.
6 p.m.
And you know what that means? You guys will be sleeping shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friends.
No
you guys
problem.
always come to my
Thank you.
rescue, so thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and we're gonna do more fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I need my jacket. I want my jacket, man.
Yeah.
I still want that. I don't want the spacesuit, but I love that.
The spacesuit. Oh, you're talking about the bomber, the mud skipper jacket.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
reversible. It's got like it looks like this in terms of the quilt.
But it's a onesie.
No, it's a jacket and joggers.
They're separate?
They're separate.
Oh, did you think it was a onesie?
Oh yeah.
That's so, the shiny suit, right? The shiny.
I call it spacesuit.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
That's so funny.
Next podcast, I'll be wearing that.
Yeah. We should
It was cool.
you know what we should do like on some like have you seen the Letterman interviews?
Yes.
Like we should do one where you're in the spacesuit and you're giving us a tour of the space here.
Yes. I should go in my hyperbaric chamber wearing that spacesuit.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like a spaceship?
It looks like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we can do lots of fun things.
Yeah.
We should film a video here, like a music video. I could rap.
You have the
Do
lighting.
you like the LL Cool J song that came out?
The recent one?
Yeah.
I heard it, but I didn't. Is there a video?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the video yet.
Yeah, with Eminem?
No, I didn't watch the video yet.
Yeah.
It's good?
You're not on TikTok and stuff? It's everywhere.
I am, but
You've been busy.
busy.
I guess I'm not that busy.
You can send me stuff, you know?
Okay. Okay, sorry.
You can be like, hey,
Whoa.
peep this.
Do this. Let me know. We
What
can
do you
do
think?
this.
Yeah.
I'll be the Eminem guy.
What are some services here that are appropriate to have in a music video?
Well, depending on what the song is about, we can do like some TCM, acupuncture, some moxa, cupping, that sort of thing.
Acupuncture would be cool.
Gets the little bit of an Asian vibe.
Yeah.
Got a lot of smoke. Get a fog machine in here.
Mm-hmm.
Couple ninjas jump out of the walls.
You got that space, like when you get a back massage where you can put your face in.
Oh, the face
The
cradle?
face cradle.
Yeah.
Then you have the camera underneath. And the person's rapping.
Oh, hey.
You know?
Yeah, your face is going to be like this, but
Yeah.
you can still wear your sunglasses.
Wear the sunglasses.
It's a bad idea.
I think we got something.
We can go in the therapy room and we can have a good cry.
Yeah.
You don't know what this means to me.
You don't know what that sounds like a hook right there. You don't know what this means to me. Coming soon.
Yeah.
Trio Wellness.
Okay, my friends. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
An
Jason.
hour 42. We did good.
Wow, that's a official podcast.
What's that?
An hour and 42